So if we can just sink into the chair, feel our hands, and we can call this being in the present moment, but whatever we call it, it's not it anyway. Usually it's wonderful to kind of be very simple together and feel this amazing silence, this amazing love that is available to all of us. Actually quite easy, in an easy fashion when we are together. It's like taking a bath in love bath. So the price to pay for this love bath is very simple. Some of our attention is allocated, angled in towards the body. I usually show it like this. Is this arm movement almost becoming like a mudra for us, where when I'm tilting my fingers towards the body automatically knows what I mean without words. The intelligence in the body finds itself. And the other prerequisite, the other price that we pay for enabling all of us to be in this love bath together is the commitment that we cannot be serious while we're doing this. So to do this non-seriousness, we say hello using the chuckle. So instead of hello, we go like this. So it's a deliberate act of chuckle, because this amazing loving feeling within us is very easy, provided that some of our attention is in this direction, provided that we keep it very chuckly. Is that such a word, chuckly?
It is now.
Keep it very happy, but not the kind of happy that where we are telling jokes, although that's okay. We have to keep it really light. If we become serious, then no amount of explanation or practice will work. Keeping it light and keeping it chuckly and non-serious is one of the prerequisites. So you frequently will see me doing like this. And if I frequently see you doing like this, I would be even happier. And I'm going to be chuckling whether you're happy or I'm happy or we both are happy or not. You chuckle, becomes easy to feel your hands. And the smile, easily reaching the tip of your fingers. It's almost like the smile could be directed into the fingers, and then the fingers redirected towards the body, let's say. But we're only playing, it's not serious. And very easily, very quickly, we are in the so-called present moment. Present moment is not a small piece that we steal out of time. It's not a small piece of time that we have stolen. Also, present moment is not what we're doing at this moment. There's all kinds of misunderstandings about the present moment. It simply means that we have activated a part of us that is normally not playing with us in our dimension. By activating a part of us that we haven't been using for a long time, we feel this amazingly loving, wonderful calm. As a result, the mind stops. And when the mind stops, the mind calls it to present moment, even though it has nothing to do with time, or at least it's got nothing to do with the kind of time that the mind would like us to think that only exists. So the mind stops, it doesn't have a word for it, it calls it to present moment. When we have the chuckle and the allocation of attention, very quickly we access a part of us that's always been there. I frequently say that we can only inherit this. And the reason I say consistently that we can only inherit this is because we can't find it. If we search for it, we can't find it. We cannot go towards it. And most importantly, we cannot deserve it. The mind would love to love it if somehow it could participate with us in this activation. So it kind of it gets us involved in all kinds of activity that involves time, searching for it, clearing more and more, modify our behavior more and more, and sometimes in the future we're gonna get there. And the reason we use the metaphor of inheriting, because inheriting something does not require behavior modification. Mind you, if sometimes wealthy people make prerequisites like, well, when you inherit this $1 billion, you must be married and you must be getting off alcohol. So there might be some prerequisites. But generally speaking, when we inherit, it doesn't require any modification. I can inherit money from my father, whether I deserve it or not, just because I exist. Most important thing to remember is that I can search for it. How could I search for it if I already have it? But the price to pay is activation. Activation simply means that I take some of my attention and allocate it in this direction. It's very simple, it's easy. Smile always helps. That's the price to pay. It's ridiculous even the way I express it, the price to pay. The mind would love it if our attention is consistently in that direction. In the templates, the mind would love it if we only see the world through its templates, its filters, which usually consist of some sort of fear or fears. Society creates rules which made up of fearful templates, rules. So there is no support for this in society whatsoever. So that's why I use the expression, the price to pay is to take my attention and smile at my fingers and sort of bend it in. There we go. You might call this the free will or the freed will, because in spite of all the outside influence, I take my attention, which is my right, and allocate it this way. No one will like you for it or approve of it. No one will give you or me a good mark The only person who would benefit is you and me by experiencing this amazing, loving space so easily. Keep it chocolate. So, most important during this gathering is that please keep some of your attention on your hand or on your top of your head or your shoulder. Pick a place. The easiest is to be aware of your hands. A very small sacrifice. Sacrifice to experience this loving space which does not change. It does not swing, does not require anything else from you except your attention. I like to call this holding God's hand. It feels like you're holding God's hand, and some people get offended when I use the term God, but I don't think there is anyone in this group who would be offended. Call it. Don't forget to chuckle within you, because it only works easily if it's not serious. If we catch ourselves that it's hard, that means that the contrast mind, our friend, is trying to play, wants to prevent this from happening, this, especially if it's happening so easily. How dare you do it so easily when it takes time? I've been meditating for 20 years and I haven't had sex for 15. And how dare you reach it so easily? As if it did take time. To integrate this into our life, yes, it takes time. But to reach it really is easy. If it's not easy, it's impossible. So one of the first goals of ours is what I call easy making. Easy making is not an option. Oh, it's easy for some people, hard for others. For those people for whom it's hard, it's impossible. Easy making is a prerequisite, because it only works and we don't take it so seriously, like playing in a sandbox. It's a few kids making faces. So let's go to the shoebox.
Okay, shoebox it is.
Go for questions.
I feel like I'm so far away from reaching awakening because I seem to have too many imperfections. What should I do?
Okay. So the question is about imperfections.
Well, somebody's.
Mary had a Maria had a question. Okay. That takes preference over this one. Let's go to Maria. Hey, yeah. Let's go to Maria, and then we go to the shoebox.
Okay.
Go ahead, Maria.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
I recently saw a little bit of a video, a YouTube, I think it was. You and Nurit and someone called Sarah Taylor.
Yeah.
Yes.
Fairly in the beginning, Nurit said something about you in the mornings having downloads. I was very curious about that.
About what?
Downloads. How you download information?
Oh, the downloading. Yes.
Downloading. I mean, it's a very it's a very IT way of describing it. But I was curious. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, Maria. You know, when you later on when you practice enough, and you'll be able to stay within consistently, right? someone from the world of God will mail you a small adapter which you can tap in to internet and download all kinds of stuff. Maria can take the joke. Come on. So yeah, I mean, I sometimes I feel like I'm downloading stuff simply because I'm able to stay with a question. So I ask questions and stay silent, and then it's almost like the universe is dictating stuff to me. Like everything that you hear from me, all the answers, all the expressions, very few comes from a book. I mean, I might learn an expression from a book, but everything was downloaded. It's almost like somebody is whispering stuff to me. But don't think for a moment that it's unique to me. Sometimes when we talk about manifestations or how to do successful meetings and things like that, one of the criteria is to be able to just be together in a group and stay with the same question. Stay with the question and stay with the question. And then everyone at that point is capable of downloading. When that happens, when several people are able to stay with the question, then we're actually accessing non-local information. Meaning that the information available to us through our contrast mind, which is a very small portion of our reality, will still have the answers for us, the conventional answers, the conventional questions. But it seems that when we are able to stay with a question, it could be a business question, it could be any kind of question. And my questions are always the same, which is, how can I share this easily, effortlessly, quickly with people? So I have downloaded like an amazing amount of information.
Yes, so many notebooks, like piles and piles of notebooks of writing.
Sometimes I feel like I don't want any more because I hardly started to share some of the stuff. So it's a skill that becomes natural when we're able to stay calm and quiet, and the benefits are amazing because we do get answers to important questions that we consider important, which is, we'll be wondering, where did this answer come from? Oh my God, And the mind might answer saying, oh, it's the Akashic records. I wonder who put this in. But that's irrelevant. What matters is that we download non-local, amazing information which greatly contributes to all our lives. And again, the price to pay is just simply able to stay with the question and stay calm. How do we stay calm? Is by accessing the intelligence of the body, by pointing our attention to it. But did you want to say something?
I just wanted to know if staying with the question is such a foreign concept to most people.
Is it?
Yes. No, people don't. It's very easy to understand what you mean intellectually, but to actually stay with the question is not something that we're used to doing. We say, I'm staying with the question, but the mind is still waiting for an answer.
Okay. Yeah.
So maybe you can elaborate a little bit of the intricacies of that.
Yeah, staying with the question means that when my mind wants to interfere and rush me into the next thought, come on, go ahead, hurry up, you got to take the kids to school, finish this quickly, you don't have enough money to pay the bill, I wonder if he's cheating on me, I wonder if she has reached the destination, on and on. Well, when the mind tries to interfere with the silence within which you're asking the question, then what we do is we chuckle it away. So here is the mind trying to interfere. How about this and how about that? And we have a way to interfere with the interference. So we actually interfere with the interferer.
with the interferences.
we interfere with the interference.
We interrupt the interrupter.
We interrupt the interrupter.
Yeah,
So,
that's better.
usually a chuckle, and there are other techniques. So I'm staying calm. I'm accessing the body's intelligence, let's say the silence, the presence. And you notice it when the mind stops, then I'm focusing on a question. I'm not in a rush. I'm not expecting any answers. And under these circumstances, the answers will come. And you'd be shocked and surprised about what sort of answers come. I mean, sometimes I write like 2, 3, 4 pages. And then I read it with a contrast mind and say, oh my God, this is good stuff.
That's actually how your book got written.
Yeah, that's how the book got written. Yeah.
We would sit in our office, the coffee shop, where Andrea, you just found out where it was, where it is, and you know, I'm very much a doer, and I'm waiting to write because Gabor doesn't write, but he can speak. Thank God. So
I mean, I can write my name or something like that.
So, but I write, so I'm a doer, so I'm waiting for the next paragraph, and he's just being. And all of a sudden, something comes out, like I say, "Holy, where did that come from?" It's just amazing, things that I've never heard him say before. So just being with it.
So that's what it means, being with the question. The most important thing about that, Maria and everyone, is that it's not a special power. It's not mysterious. It's not exclusive to me. It's not exclusive to creative people. It's not exclusive to talented people. Mm-hmm. All we have to do as ordinary people is just learn how to calm the mind and be with it. And the magic will just happen by itself. So that's what it means to stay with the question.
Yeah.
Is that okay, Maria?
It's great. Sounds a bit like creative thinking to me.
Let's call it that.
Minus the thinking.
Creatively non-thinking, yeah. Thank you. Anyone has another question? Let's see. They will write, I guess.
Phyllis. No, she's scratching
her head. She's just scratching her head, yeah.
Somebody else is scratching her nose. So.
Okay, I'll scratch my nose too, so that there's no embarrassment. Yeah. You can scratch your nose anytime you want.
Brigitta's cracking up. She's scratching her hair.
Hey, okay, me too. I'll scratch mine.
Okay.
Again, the prerequisite is that this works very easily if we don't take it seriously. If we take it seriously, we go more and more intellectual, and I'm capable of doing that, but I know it won't work. More and more deeply into the intellectual aspect of the subject and analytical aspect, which has some enjoyment in it, except there is practically no practical value in it, unless we chuckle. Okay, so let's go to the back to the shoebox.
Okay, shoebox it is. So, like I said, I feel like I'm so far away
from reaching
awakening because I seem to have too many imperfections. What should I do?
Well, it's totally hopeless for you. Forget it.
Unless you're perfect. That's
no. All the imperfections has to be cleared.
No.
And take all the imperfections, work on it, and in time we'll reach the goal where all the imperfections are rectified, and in time we're gonna be so perfect that we're gonna be godlike, and that's when enlightenment comes. You will see all kinds of lights coming at you and mysterious, and
we're not sure if this person has a sense of humor, so you better cut it short, that part.
Okay, so please forgive my jokingness, my imperfection as far as speaking about the subject. It's actually intentional. And I don't want to make fun of it, but I tried anyway. Imperfection is a prerequisite for awakening.
Oh, I like that.
So there's huge misunderstandings out there that those imperfections, whether bodily or behavior or emotional, has to be fixed. And millions of people believe that's obvious. And the mind, the conscious mind, loves it. Why? Because it's in time. It operates in time. Its existence depends on time. So it supports anything that will be time related. And behavior, it's an easy thing to believe that we fix up our imperfections, we're going to be better people, I clear my emotions, I become a vegetarian, whatever else, no sex, stuff like that. So in time, I'm going to be perfect, according to someone's criteria, whoever invented the bullshit.
The bull.
The bull must have, yeah. Okay, so imperfection is an essential part of awakening. I'm saying it again. Imperfection is an essential part. No imperfection, no awakening. It's also implied, I think, for those of you who might know the Bible much better than I do. I think Old or New Testament, frequently it says that God or Jesus is looking for people who are sinners, etc. So the so-called sinners are the ones who can be awake. So imperfection becomes like a reference point for the non-imperfection. So when we do our exercises, when we repeat them, it's essential to be aware of our imperfections, thought streams, anything that might come up in our conscious mind, or even pain or any kind of sensation in the body that we have, which we might call imperfection. The imperfection could be whatever imperfection that is. And then we start allocating our attention to the body, and we feel the intelligence of the body, and the imperfection is still there. But the body's intelligence is still activated. The calm is still there, and the imperfection is there. And the imperfection is perfectly accepted. By acceptance, I mean not the opposite of non-acceptance. So what happens is this imperfection becomes a catalyst for your awakening. It's like a fulcrum. It's like it helps you to pivot. It's difficult to explain, but it can be experienced. Most importantly, you feel the love of God and imperfection, and you allow both to be there at the same time. And it seems that the imperfection becomes a catalyst, so your awakening, your awareness will stick with you much quicker, better, more efficiently. I know some of you in this group who have experienced so-called imperfections or pains, physical pains, and you know what I mean, that I can access this intelligence, and in spite of the pain or imperfection, the heart is still hearting, the lung is still lunging, and the parts are still parting, and my shoulder is still shouldering. And then what we do is we hug, we surround this imperfection with love. In turn, we become a catalyst for the imperfection, and the imperfection becomes a catalyst for us. So it is an imperfection is an essential part of awakening. So please don't be dismayed about your imperfections. And I don't mean that now go ahead and be more imperfect. Okay, I'm a drunk. I'm drunk and I'm stoned and I'm whatever. It's okay. It's good for awakening, so I'm going to do more of that. That's not what I mean. What I mean is the imperfection is used as a fulcrum, as a leverage, as a catalyst, and it will be used. And there's absolutely no one who doesn't have imperfections. Mm-hmm. So rejoice, it's not a problem. Don't work on imperfections. Work on bypassing the mind and work on your own awakening. And when you do that, the imperfection will actually disappear. So we're not working on imperfection. We're working on awakening. In that process, the imperfection will disappear permanently.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
What did you have for dinner?
Well, I have no idea what you gave me, but
it wasn't that.
So be with us in this love fast and just chuckle. And remember to allocate a little bit of attention to the body and smile and be with us. And even when I'm answering a question, I'm kind of entertaining the mind too, in a sense. But most important is your attention allocation. Because the communication happens on two levels, actually on many levels. Two levels that we can explain. One is the words, the concepts, the explanation, the intellectual part of the answer. And the most important part is what's behind the words, the concepts, the non-intellectual part, the love part within which the answer is given is a lot more important. So we have another...
Let's see if anybody else has any. Maybe this question arose other questions.
I think everyone is, all these people are wonderful, loving. I can tell from them, amazing.
Oh, nobody? Okay.
Okay, we can go to the next question in the shoebox, please.
Okay. This might be a strange question. Oh, I like it already.
Me too. You like strange questions. This is a strange question.
Yeah, this might be a strange question, but I feel like a lot of people who have awakened suffered a lot first, whether it was depression or they were sick or very poor. Is suffering a prerequisite for awakening? I feel like my life is just fine, not too bad, and that I haven't suffered much. What chance do I have for awakening?
Absolutely none. You must suffer like me, 12 years of depression. Look at me. Look how much I paid for it. You think you can have it so easily?
Mr. Collins,
okay, please don't misunderstand. I'm trying to be funny because it's a prerequisite for our conversation. We have to have a light heart for this to work. Yes. Most people who have awakened had it very tough. I myself, I had 12 years of suicidal depression. It was not fun. Now I'm laughing at it, but I wasn't laughing then. It absolutely matters not whether you're a happy person or unhappy, whether you have money or don't have money. The belief systems out there is that you must be poor and you must be suffering. And that's absolutely not true. Absolutely not true. The allocation of your attention, if you feel in your heart that you're ready for such a simplicity as the allocation of attention towards your body, it'll work for you greatly. I know many people worldwide who I talk to. Many of them are extremely successful and extremely happy. So rest assured that awakening is not the exclusive right of poor people who can't pay their bills and they are suffering. It matters not to the universe. The universe really don't care. Open the door to God or not. And if you feel in your heart that you're ready for that kind of simplicity, it matters not that you're happy. You can have actually happiness on this level, and you can have awakening. The two is not both, they are not mutually exclusive. So based on my experience working with many happy people, very successful people, it matters not at all as long as you do the bypassing, allocation of attention, and then you can experience another type of happiness in conjunction with your already existing happiness. You can have happiness in the mind, which is in duality, and you can have the happiness that does not change, or it does not require anything. Chuckle, and just stay with us. Well, thank you everyone for being with us. Again, what a wonderful group. And you can easily keep this loving feeling. Just a little bit of maintenance attention to the body will keep this with us the whole day or more. So thank you for being with us and all the best. See you next time.